the session. Thank you. Hello,
I
everyone.
think
If
it's
you
8 o'clock. Should we tell
Yeah,
the people to let everybody in?
yeah, people are joining now.
Yeah, I think we can open the entry.
It's open.
No, they are not on the call. I think they are in the waiting.
No, I mean, the IT has confirmed that they can join immediately.
No. From the participant list, I can see there are 17, but they are not on the call right now. They are in the waiting.
IT, can you confirm, please?
1 second, let me just check quickly.
You can merge them into one list. Can you
Just
confirm?
to admit them.
Sorry?
No, he has to admit them, then only they can come here. Yeah.
They are in the participant list now. Can you once again confirm, please? And you can merge them into one meeting window. Thank you. We can, I think, formally start. We have close to 30 participants here.
But they are not on the call. They are still in the waiting room.
They are. You are the panelists, so you can see, but you can write in the question answer. You can chat with them, and they all are there.
Okay. Fair enough.
Thank you. Yeah. I just checked. I just checked with the IT and they confirmed. So let us formally start because we have a window of 60 minutes and we want to utilize it optimally. So on behalf of the president of the university, Professor Muthanna Abdul Razak, and the provost of the university, Professor Conwell, it is my immense pleasure to welcome all the esteemed panelists and moderator of the webinar today. And I also welcome the learned audience who have joined from various parts of the world. So thank you very much for joining, and it's our pleasure to host this webinar. With the dramatic shift at the higher education institution and with the advancement of digital engagement, it is so important for each one of us in higher education as part of the higher education fraternity to create some meaningful learning experiences in a different modality, in a new modality, I should say. And the importance of research on cultural influences on teaching and learning cannot be negated at all. So at American University in the Emirates, we are also known as AUE. We assist the students to adapt to the different style in a different country. And this is both culturally and pedagogically relevant to us. So hosting the series of HETL Talk not only demonstrates our institution's commitment to research, but also our commitment to a long-term and mutually beneficial partnership with International Higher Education Teaching and Learning Association, also known as HETL. We are certain that today's deliberation and reflections by the esteemed panelist and the moderator, I know her well, she is going to moderate so well. She's going to ask serious questions on the topic. And I'm sure this deliberation and reflections they're going to identify some of the gaps, and it will also provide some reflections for future research and future discussion on the same topic. On this note, I once again welcome the panelists and request the moderator, Dr. Poblan, and the initiator of the HETL Talk, Dr. Audrey, to take over, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Singh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the seminar on e-community engagement. My name is Sameerah Saeed, and I'm a senior lecturer in public health, and I'm based in University of Aberdeen, which is in northeast of Scotland in UK. And I'm one of the country directors for the International Higher Education Teaching and Learning Association. As it was mentioned, we call it in short HETL. So this seminar is offered by HETL in partnership with American University in the Emirates. And if you want to find out more about HETL, please do follow us up and look out for the follow-up email that will come to you after the event. And we are a group of people who have passion for education and passion for learning. So we welcome you to join this community. A few housekeeping and practical points before we start. So all the delegates have been muted. So if you have any questions, we want you to have questions. That's the only way we can make this webinar energizing and making it a friendly learning platform. So please do use the chat function and put your questions out there. And we will address these questions towards the end of the talk. And if you have questions for a specific panelist in the chat, please also mention who that question is addressed to, and they will pick that up when we come to the question and answer session. The content of today's session, it focuses on e-cultural and e-community engagement initiative. And we have 5 panelists who are experts in the field, and we've worked together for so long. So let me introduce the panelists to you. Our panelists are Dr. Audrey Falk, who's a professor from Merrimack College in USA. And then we have Dr. Martina Jordaan, who is the head of community engagement research and postgraduate studies at the University of Pretoria in South Africa. And we've got Dr. Sameerah Saeed, who's a funding coordinator and monitoring quality assurance agency in the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research from Iraq. And we've got Dr. Bhaskara Rao, who's the Associate Professor of ICFAI Business School, who's based at the ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education from India. And finally, Dr. Nour Chaoui, professor at the Sidi Mohammed bin Abdullah University in Morocco. Just looking at the panel, you can see the expertise from different disciplines, from different parts of the world coming together to deliver this webinar. So at this point, I'm going to invite Dr. Falk to provide a brief introduction of this collaborative initiative. Dr. Falk, can I please invite you to come and take the floor?
Yes, thank you so much. And I'd love to just share how excited we all are to be with you today to talk about our initiative and to share what we have done, what we have learned, and hopefully inspire some of you to try similar kinds of approaches with your own students and communities. And certainly we invite you to reach out to us, not just during this presentation, but following this presentation if you're interested in future collaboration. So it's our pleasure to discuss our International Intercultural E-Community Engagement Initiative with you. The initiative that we'll be discussing took place over 5 weekly hour-long sessions last May and June of 2022. Roughly 5 undergraduate or graduate students from each of our 5 respective higher education institutions, again from the countries of Iraq, Morocco, South Africa, India, and United States of America, participated in this project. And an additional 25 or so youth from the Township of Mamelodi in South Africa also participated in the project. The focus was the theme of culture, and each of those 5 sessions that we did over Zoom focused on a particular theme relevant to culture. So one session was on movies and entertainment, a second on dance, another on food and festivals, a fourth on clothes and fashion, and the fifth on sports and hobbies. Essentially what happened is we had mixed groups of college students from our respective institutions who designed and delivered these presentations to the Mamelodi youth in South Africa. All of this again occurring via Zoom. So we, as the organizers and coordinators of the initiative, spent a great deal of time, again over Zoom, designing the initiative, recruiting students from our respective institutions to participate, then collectively orienting the students to the project, helping them understand the parameters and expectations, serving as advisors for these mixed international groupings of students to help them as they designed their presentations, and then also organizing and implementing a project evaluation component where we included focus groups and questionnaires to gather information from all of the participants on their experience and the benefits and challenges of participation in the project. So I wanted to share that general information to give you a sense of what the project we did was. We do see ourselves as an ongoing team, and we are envisioning future iterations of this project, and we are planning and still innovating and thinking about how to continue the work we've done while also adding new elements to it. And that's part of the reason we wanted to present today, to get feedback and again possible additional collaborators to work with us. I know that Dr. Pubalan will be asking a number of questions that will help us to dive deeper into the project. So I'm going to close my introduction here so as not to take away from the various questions she'll be asking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Falk. It's a fascinating introduction to the discussion that we are going to have for the next few minutes. Thank you. Now, can I invite each of you to share how you became involved in this initiative, what inspired you to become involved in it, and what motivates you to keep this partnership sustained and keep it going? Can I invite the panelists to share your thoughts, please?
Okay, so I will start. I'm Martina Jordaan from the University of Pretoria, and I'm situated in a township, my campus, the Mamelodi campus. I just completed a very successful e-community project with another university, and it was so successful. And I found that the learners that we worked with were very willing to be involved with projects like this. So previously, I met Professor Falk on a community of practice, and I suggested this specific project, something related to the similar project to her. And she was just excellent leader. So she took it and she ran with it. And we established a very passionate, dedicated group that continued with the project.
Sameerah, do you want to come and share?
Yes, sure. Okay, so how did this start? It was in, as far as I remember, it was in November or December 2021. It was through HETL, like we knew each other. Each one of us was like represent a member, a director, country director representing the country in HETL. So it was an email that was sent to everyone to all HETL members who was interested in a surface learning project. So I read this email and I thought, surface learning is something related to community. Okay, we don't have this in Iraq. So why not learn about it? Why not work on it? And why not introduce it to my community, to Iraq context, education context? So our project was planned at the beginning as a pilot initiative to explore the efficiency of and value of utilizing technology for connecting students across different parts of the world, different cultures. And I'm sure it is like, it was an interesting story for all of us. And I'm sure each one of us has a unique answer. I personally was inspired by the potential of technology to bridge different researchers and different students from different cultures, from different countries. And I was also motivated by the idea that as faculty members and our students, we could make a difference in our own communities, even though it is small, but we can start from this small and make it bigger. As I continued to work on this project and learn more about its goals and objectives, I became even more motivated to continue being involved. And we are planning to work more on second, third projects, because I mean, surface learning is not adopted, as I said, is not adopted as a course in the curriculum of this context. And so I was eager to learn about it and practice it closely to be able to disseminate this knowledge, this experience to decision makers at Ministry of Education and Ministry of Education in Iraq. And it will take time. It will take time. But this is for sure, to insert it and establish this course in the universities and high school. But it's worth trying. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Saeed.
Okay, good evening and good afternoon, good morning to various participants. It's really fascinating to be on this, panel discussion today. We have worked our way through for the last 1.5 years, I think, to reach this stage. So it all started, as Dr. Sameerah said, on November 17, 2021. Dr. Audrey sent a mail quoting the name of Dr. Martina, saying that we are planning to do some project, and those who are interested, please respond. I don't know who they are. And I just thought, okay, let's try, because we are all together in the HETL. And as country directors, we must do some, collaborative work. So I responded to her. And finally, on 17th December, she managed to have all 5 of us in a, Zoom meeting. 17th December, it all started. I think that was the first time we looked at each other, how they look on a 2-dimension screen. And I think thereafter, there was no going back. I think we all were passionate about what we are doing. And generally in universities, you find it extremely difficult even to have collaboration within the departments or across the departments. But here is an example where, without knowing each other, without any formal contact anywhere, I think 5 of us could forge this collaboration in the last 1.5 years. We are extremely happy about what we are doing, and definitely what we are doing is impressive. We have made several, contacts in this regard, and everybody appreciated that. So what keeps us going, basically? I think the first thing I would say is, in the last 1.5 years, I've seen there is 100% mutual trust and mutual respect. I think each one of us respect each other, and there is a 100% trust. Without talking to the group, nobody does anything in the formal way. And as Dr. Martina said, Dr. Audrey is an excellent leader. She is the one who will drive this entire project, and she, together with other participants, will assign the responsibilities and fixes their accountability. And generally, excellent thing about it is all of us have 99%, we have met the commitments that we have made. And there's a sense of cooperation throughout. And we all have that autonomy in doing the project. We can voice our concerns. Everyone is equal here. Everyone can express as long as it contributes to the success of the project. So as far as the sustainability of this kind of a team collaboration is clearly divided, and established responsibilities and accountabilities is something which is an excellent way of working. And Dr. Audrey takes the trouble of conducting frequently the Zoom meetings. I know she gets up pretty early in the morning and make sure that we are all there for the meeting. I think that's thanks to Dr. Audrey. And equal access to the data and the resources. I think that is something which is technology that we are using. So all the literature, all the data is available to each one of us in a, on a cloud, and any one of us can access it any time. I think that is another good principle that we have followed, and address the mutual expectations. In a project like this, there are a lot of constraints which we will discuss later, but I think we have been very sensitive to each other's requirements, and we have tried to accommodate as much as possible, be very, very flexible. So I must, first of all, on this platform, express my great, deep appreciation to Dr. Audrey and Dr. Martina, who are the prime movers of this, and we are all there with you. And I hope this will continue to flourish. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a real pleasure to participate in this webinar on community engagement. And it's a double pleasure to be with you today and to answer your questions about this wonderful experience. So I am very pleased to be part of this GREECE project, which is a partnership between 5 universities in 5 countries, and initiated by 5 professors who are connected as national directors of the international associations for teaching and learning in higher education. So I think cooperation is an integral part of international solidarity. It is very essential to making global connections for faculty and students. So I am highly motivated to continue and deepen this type of collaboration focused on digital exchange, engagement, and learning. What also motivates me to maintain the partnership is especially the fact of collaboration with wonderful people from many countries. And I take this opportunity to thank especially professor leadership, as well as Dr. Martina, Dr. Rao, Dr. Sameerah, and also Professor Patrick. I can't forget to thank my students, my director from INSA office for the commitments in this experience, and all the students and learners who participate in this experience. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And I will just add, just as Dr. Jordaan said, she and I connected through another organization, Campus Compact, which is a US-based organization focused on the mission of higher education community engagement. And I was co-facilitating a community of practice in the context of the pandemic a couple of years ago, and Dr. Jordaan was one of the participants in that community of practice, both of us having particular expertise and positions that focus on community engagement. And we developed a great professional connection with one another. And it was Dr. Jordaan who actually recommended me to HEDL as a possible country delegate. And then I was offered the opportunity to serve as a country director for a region, my region of the USA, which also was my entree to everyone else here, all the other country directors. And then relatively early on, after becoming a country delegate, as we were planning for a conference and starting to think about possible projects, Dr. Jordaan and I started to think about possible international initiatives that we could engage in. And then we sent out that communication that Dr. Rao referred to and brought everyone together. And that was the beginning of our work together. And as others have said, it's been a wonderful opportunity for us to connect with each other, to have a truly international collegial network and project, and to really explore what can be done in the context of remote community engagement across the globe. And so this first initiative has been extremely exciting and has given us a lot of reason to believe that this kind of work is doable and sustainable, and something that we would love to see more and more faculty and schools and communities engage in. I think for me, what sustains my interest in the work is certainly community engagement is my passion. And I think that while community engagement on the one hand is very local and ought to be very local, at the same time, understanding our roles as global citizens and understanding how the challenges that any of us face at a very local level connect with the challenges that families and communities face all over the world is very, very important. And there's a great connection between what we can do in our local communities and what we can do at much larger levels in terms of making change for people all over the world. And so this project is just a little step in the direction of thinking about those kinds of opportunities and how we can help develop students to have a sense of identity that really is that of a global citizen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Falk. It's amazing just listening to the story of 2 years of how you've journeyed together to get to this partnership. What I'm seeing is there's a common thread that's coming through is the passion for what you all believe in as educators. And from there, from all what you've said so far, I can see the trust and the respect. I think that's what seemed to have held together. And to underpin all of this is the great leadership and the support that you have for each other. And I think it is fascinating that 5 of you across the world from different cultures, from different disciplines can come together with one goal and take this forward is really fascinating. You kind of, all of you touched on some of the aspects of this collaboration in terms of benefits for yourself. Obviously you come together, it's organically formed group, you met somewhere and you spread your wings and you come together. But in terms of after you establish collaboration, what do you see as benefits for yourselves, your institutions, or for your students that's come out of this initiative?
Fantastic. I think that is, I would say this is what is, if you have to talk about the return on the investment, this is infinite. I would put it that way. There are many benefits that this 1.5 years has given. First, I think we have 5 friends now. We have whenever we think of a project of this nature, each one of them come to my mind. So we have got excellent friends, which would not have been possible but for this project. So these are all God-given friends, I would say. All right. Then in terms of as we are all academics and we are deeply engaged in our academic pursuits. So it has given us 6 tangible outcomes in terms of the achievements. First, as soon as we started the project, we put together a chapter in an edited book published by a reputed, IGI global publisher, and this has already seen the light of the day. Then all 5 of us have participated in a symposium in an international conference organized at Istanbul, Turkey, under the auspices of HETL and the local university in Turkey. That is the second. And the third, we were able to put together our research output into a paper, and that has now been submitted to a Scopus indexed journal, which is currently undergoing the review process. So we hope that we'll have a very, very reputed journal publishing our research output in a Scopus index journal. And fourth, we have participated in a competition organized by the Emerald Publishing. Hopefully we will get some result out of it. The submission is done. We are waiting for the results of that. And of course, the fifth is this particular, panel discussion, which we would not have been able to participate, but for the kind of work that we have done. And I would say the sixth one is that we are also participating in the HETL conference in Scotland, and where our paper has been selected for a poster presentation. That is the sixth. And last but not the least, all 5 of us are engaged in crafting a new project as an extension to the current project, and we hope that will give us much better quality, research output, and hopefully by 2024 we will take that to the HETL conference wherever it is held globally. So there are many benefits that we have got as researchers, and with zero investment in terms of money, hardly any. Whenever I attend some conferences at the national level and all, people talk about where is the research funding, this is not enough, the government is not giving enough budget and all that. But I think our passion has been the investment, and our trust and respect are the drivers for this. And as far as the students are concerned, they were excited. I'll tell you, the kind of excitement that we have seen among the students who participated, both from Mamelodi and all the 5 countries, the students who participated in this project, they were mighty, excited, and they all wanted actually not an online project. They wanted a physical project, and they all wanted to continue this kind of an engagement. And I'm very happy to share. I think Dr. Martina will be able to provide more details. They all have that enriched CV with the participation in this international project. And one student apparently has got a job from South Africa in Hong Kong. So it is not only the research that helped, actually it is helping the students who are participating in this, and all our academic institutions from wherever we are actually being the ambassadors for the academic institutions where what we represent, and that enhances the reputation of our colleges. I think there are a lot of benefits. I think this passion, we would be very happy if it spreads to the others through this panel, and many more such projects come. Internationally, there's a huge need for this kind of collaborations, but I think forging these collaborations need to be promoted. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. Others can add some more points. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rao, for a comprehensive benefits for yourself and wider of your institution and your students. and you highlighted about 6 benefits coming from various aspects. Do the other panelists want to add on anything that hasn't been mentioned already? Otherwise, I think we can move on to, we've seen the benefits, but I'm sure working across the globe and time zones and cultures and disciplines, I'm sure there were some challenges too. So is there any other benefits that any of the panelists want to add?
Dr. Amu, there is a question also, probably any of the panelists can answer. If anyone is having a valid evidence and value-based explanation of their educational influence in their own higher education learning, the learning of their students and the learning of the social formations in which their practice is located. So if anyone can answer that question also, any case study they can share of their respective institution.
I'm not sure that we've done a particular case study of our institutions, at least I certainly have not yet. However, I do think that the literature that Dr. Rao referenced already, the one chapter that we've already written, would be a good starting point, because it does give a very broad conceptual framework for the project. And then the article that is still under development and that we're waiting for approval and acceptance, that article also really even further develops that work in terms of creating a conceptual foundation for the work that I think that you would be quite interested in seeing. And certainly there's more work for us to do, as we have shared. I would say too, just in reference to the benefits question, that I'd like to point out that while of course there's a subset of college students and graduate students in any country who have the privilege to visit other countries live in person, generally speaking, certainly in the US, the vast majority of our college students do not have the opportunity to study abroad or to visit other countries while a student. And in no way are we knocking those real live opportunities to visit other countries, because of course that can be a wonderful and transformative experience for a student. However, the kind of access that is available through platforms like Zoom and other digital technologies today makes it possible that really truly any college student anywhere in the world ought to be able to have these types of opportunities where they can engage and interact with other students across the globe. And that is really exceptional and new, and that's kind of where this opportunity and this benefit largely lies. And then also just wanted to add to the point of just kind of the ways that we are continuing to deepen our connections and engagement with one another, that in fact, in addition to the 5 of us and also actually the 6 of us, because Dr. Pubalan as well, getting to meet each other live in person in Istanbul, also, I had the opportunity to travel to South Africa and to visit Dr. Jordaan's university on another project, and she is also planning to take a similar excursion to Merrimack College, where I teach, in a couple of months as well. And so I think we've got synergies and other kinds of spin-off opportunities that may come just by virtue of our connecting with each other and learning about one another's interests and finding what other kinds of ways we might collaborate with each other as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Sameerah,
yes, I would like to add something about the benefits. Maybe, I mean, we should not forget that the benefits that have come across the students' path. This initiative created an environment, a platform for them to foster a good understanding and respect of other cultures. And this has led to greater empathy and compassion. It actually, it was a learning process about different cultural values and practices, and respect different and appreciate those different worldviews and perspectives. It was an opportunity for them, for the students, to interact and connect with one another internationally, engaging them to gain insight about these different cultures and perspectives and customs. For institutions, it was a great collaboration between different institutions across these 5 countries. It provided an opportunity to demonstrate commitment to globalization and international collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sameerah. Just keeping in time, I was just wondering whether we could, sorry, Dr. Martina, do you want to come in? And after that, Dr. Nour as well.
It's not, I just want to remember, I've still got the community on this side. So the value for the kids, that was very important to remember. And then it was really easy to roll out new similar projects with other higher education institutions after this, because I had a good example. That's what I would like.
Thank you, Dr. Martina. Dr. Nour, do you want to
so I will try to be brief. I mean, we are very convinced of the importance of this type of collaboration, which fits perfectly with our new development model in Morocco, as well as with the plan for acceleration, the transformation of the higher education, scientific research and innovation ecosystem 2030. So I will not spend too much time talking about Morocco strategy, but I think the expected benefits of this type of collaboration are enormous for everyone, learners, students, teachers, and university, and all the countries. So several benefits have also been identified as a result of this experience, was cited by Dr. Rao, Dr. Martina, Dr. Audrey, and Dr. Sameerah. For me, I think it is also an excellent opportunity for students to develop communication skills, collaboration with students from other countries, and develop teamwork skills across geographic and cultural boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you face challenges and you must have addressed the challenges. Would the panelists like to highlight a couple of challenges that you faced in this collaborative work and tell us how you mitigated those challenges? Dr. Sameerah?
Okay, yes. I will comment on this, but I would also like to reply to Mr. Andrew Whitehead.
Mm-hmm.
He says that if anyone on the panel has published any explanation of their educational influences in their own learning and the learning others using, for example, an explanation that including their, I don't know if I got this right, but I myself presented a seminar to schools in at Ministry of, and then there were some decision makers at the Ministry of Education, introduced this whole experience to them. It was in, I think, April last year, 2022. And they really liked to investigate more this thing. What I need to do is to write a proposal to be involved, to insert this at high schools maybe. I don't know. I mean, this could work as a follow-up case study that we can work on. And now, your question, Houda, it was about challenges. Yes, I mean, working on a project that connects people from different countries through Zoom. Online meetings is for its on itself is a huge task, and there are many challenges beyond this like how to say that, like beyond this whole project. The mechanism, sorry. The main challenges that we faced were related to communication, making sure that everyone has internet connection, making sure that everyone has electricity. And then we had this time zone, especially the difference between USA, India, Iraq, Morocco, I mean, Iraq, Morocco, and South Africa, we were somehow close to each other. But then India and then USA were different parts. So we needed to, we had to make sure that everyone is comfortable to meet online at a time that is not 4 a.m. or 10 p.m. So this was a challenge that we all had to care about. And then we were worried about accomplishing all the sessions without postponing them. So we were worried about whether the students will commit to these sessions and will accomplish the tasks assigned to them, will prepare the presentations, will work together, because we divided them into groups. And then each group, there was a representative from each of these countries. So we were worried that like, they will not cooperate, they will not talk to each other, they will not chat. We were worried about these things. And one of my students, I mean, in one group, he couldn't continue because he got a car accident. And later I found out, because he was like he was in pain, and I was like, why he's not answering? He had a car accident at the same one day before the session. It was really something sad. And then what else? I mean, students have studies, have their own studies, have their own assignments. So encouraging them to work on this project was a big challenge as well, because priority is for their studies, priority is for their assignments. And to do something extra was like, we had to push them, we had to encourage them. And yeah, I mean, this is what I remember. Maybe someone else can add something. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sameerah. Yes, if anybody wants to add any of the challenges?
Yes, I just want to add two things, because I'm higher at the community, that means the kids. And that was a challenge to get them 5 weeks there. That's the first challenge. The second problem was they are living in a township. So it was important to have computers for them, internet, stable internet. And then we have a problem in South Africa called load shedding, where the power is shut off. So it was very important that if the power is shut off, there is a generator that will be available. So to get the kids for 5 weeks there, that was my main issue on this side. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Because just listening to the loads of benefits that you all have discussed and the challenges and how you mitigate it, this probably is $1 million question before we get the participants to ask you questions, is if there is 1 or 2 suggestions and recommendations for the participants who are sitting here thinking, you highlighted how important this is and your passion is there. If you want to give us a recommendation, if anybody wants to engage in this e-community type of initiatives, can you tell us that real 1 or 2 good recommendations for anybody to engage in these kind of initiatives?
I think, can I answer?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I think to answer that question, I think when the COVID-19 health crisis happened, we said that after 6 months, everything would be back to normal. 2 years or 3 years later, the variants are still coming. So when we talk about what's happening today and in these difficult times, I think that acceleration, every transition is really a necessity, a must. Therefore, the future is not going to be what we envision, and we can't continue to do what we've always done. So I think higher education will undoubtedly be open and more collaborative, and it will also be highly digitized and intelligent. So we need to anticipate the future in order to leverage our capabilities and resources. So indeed, there are things we are rethinking now and things we need to rethink. How can we improve or sense that what we have already created, what resources should we choose, and what infrastructure will connect all the elements that need to be implemented to support the whole. And already we need to think about what higher education will be and what vision the university might offer before we implement strategy even. So I think it's our responsibility to act to make a difference to leaders, teachers, administrators, students, union, parents, and staff to make the university the best it can. So in short, to succeed in this great challenge, I think the #1 keyword is that we need to change our way of thinking, and then a strong motivation and commitment from all stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nour. Does anybody want to add on a recommendation before we open it up to the participants? Yeah, Dr. Rao.
I'd like to add a couple of points. I just returned from 2 conferences in India, one by the QS and the other by the Times Higher Education. And in both the meetings, what has been highlighted is very, very important for particularly those who are in academics. They are going to measure international collaborations, not by merely looking at the names in the papers published, but the actual engagement between the countries and the academic institutions. So I think in the next maybe maximum a year time, the new parameters probably will come in. So therefore, a forum like this, I think I would urge all the other academic fraternity and those from industry to work towards forging collaborations for working on some societal problems. I think all of us are very concerned about the 2030 achievements of the Sustainable Development Goals, and international collaboration using technological platforms like what we have done can really spur, if not the great results, at least awareness on the Sustainable Development Goals can be created using students from different institutions across the globe. Intercultural conversations are very, very important. In fact, as a faculty from India, until I met all my other friends here, I had my own, preconceived notions. And the world outside is very different from what I used to imagine. I think today I'm more realistic, and I appreciate the entire experience with them. The same happens at the level of the students. For millions of the students, opportunities like this are very important. I would imagine that projects like this should be done in thousands of numbers across the globe with the involvement of, again, thousands of faculty members. So that is my sincere, desire and hope. Some of the faculty members who are there, some of the participants on the call will, take this forward. And this does not cost. I think what is important is instead of talking about the funding and all that, I think we must look at non-funded, passion-oriented, result-oriented, research projects, which there are innumerable projects which can be done. And collaboration requires, as a final word of caution, collaboration requires 100% trust in each one of the collaborators and 100% mutual respect. Then the world is open for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. I think it's a lovely way of bringing the talks together before we take some questions from the participants. I think the important points that you've said, I can see the collaboration spans across the globe, from developed, developing, underdeveloped communities. And for me, just listening to your story and the thing that, for me, what comes home to me is that passion that we brought together and what you're able to offer to students from various landscapes of educational ability and access that students have. As academics, I think sometimes we get so bogged down by grant income publications, and we tend to move towards only those projects which we see as benefits. But what I see is happening here is a group of like-minded people who have come together and given over and above. Just yesterday, I saw a poster which said, "Big hearts, trains, little minds." So it's a coaster, it's a funny thing. It's two pandas walking together. But I think that's what I'm seeing here, like-minded people coming together and seeing what is beneficial for students across the globe. And you've started this initiative. Thank you so much for sharing that journey with us. So can I ask now the participants to type in any questions that you have for the panelists? And I think there is a couple of questions out here. Thank you, Dr. Andrew Whitehead, for saying, and I think there's a positive idea from the panel, what you're suggesting. So there is a comment, I think, from Dr. Ahmed Samaji, that I truly believe that civic engagement and service learning should be carefully, creatively, and enthusiastically aligned with the learning outcomes across various courses and majors. Thank you for that. There is a question here from Marie. What improvement in education learning of yourselves, your colleagues or students and your university have been influenced by your collaboration? Which is a good point, because you're doing this wonderful work, but if you want to sustain and take it forward without buying in by your institutions, then it's your individual passion, and there is only so far we can go, and there is this likelihood of tiredness coming in. So that's a valuable point. Any comments from how your institution, actually I've had similar kind of question, how much of your collaboration work is recognized and valued by your institutions? Have anybody recognized your work in institutions, or you're kind of doing away these things? But no, yeah, Martina, do you want to come in?
I think it was a wonderful experience, because after this, I could manage to roll out more projects similar with other universities. It's also now used as example. Of course, I got lots of marketing out of this. I always push a lot of marketing for the university from any project. And I think I'm getting people to buy into this. It's very difficult for everyone to grasp what it is and how to do it. I would say not everyone is eager to do it. They sound interesting, but there's definitely a positive move, because it's not precisely COIL as we know it. It's not a module to a module. It's more community outreach, and it's a little bit different. But there is definitely, like I said, it was possible now to do similar projects with other members of the community, like all the pensioners. I had a project, and then with the preschool teachers, I had also a project. So it helps.
Thank you, Dr. I think you made a very crucial point. I mean, COIL is kind of this kind of platforms. That's what it is about. But there is that economic financial thing roped into that. You develop, you deliver, and you get it, students pay. But what you have done is, I see it as the bigger thing as an impact. The impacting your students who will never have this opportunity of working with other students. I think that seems to be huge, with no gain for either you guys financially as individuals or your institutions. And I think, hopefully, I'm thinking, will this pilot project you have done help you to move forward with bigger funding, which will kind of show the impact on a long term, which will then in turn make the institutions take notice of what you've done and achieved so far. Dr. Rao, do you want to come in and contribute to this?
Yeah, I think that's what we are really looking at. The pilot is now going to lead us to a bigger project, which will be probably on our own. But I think a couple of papers published on these things will definitely get us probably, more recognition and probably funding from some, socially oriented organizations. We are hopeful by 2024, we will have much greater impact on in the academic fraternity, definitely. And, how does it actually improve our own educational learning, and how does it impact our students? I can tell you, but for this project, I would not have probably initiated a summer internship project that we are now launching in our university. This project has actually sensitized me that academics can also be sort of drivers of community engagement. And therefore, for our undergraduate students, we are now initiating from 2023 academic year onwards, a 2 months engagement for the students with the local communities, working on each group of students will take one summer SDG and study local problems, come out with a report and possibly with some solutions. And this was not done before, and we're going to institutionalize this. That insight came to me after I think we went through this project. That definitely is, and whenever I'm now giving examples in the class, when I'm teaching a particular subject, I try to bring in these kinds of experiences to the class so that the students are sensitized to the community related issues. Instead of giving some examples and anecdotes of a Google or a Microsoft or an Apple, now I give more what is near and local to the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. I think there is a really good comment that Dr. Farida has put in, which shows that she says the community engagement is the way for students to develop real world skills and to gain better understanding of the world around them. And also its importance, an effective way to build relationships with local organizations, businesses as well. And I think what you are doing is to make people own what they are doing. I think you're building that ownership as well as part of it, engaging with the community. And I think that comment really brings home what you're trying to do, and the participants are appreciating the importance of that community engagement in even when there are limited resources, safety concerns, but it is a meaningful way to engage. And it's a lovely comment. I really like what Dr. Farida has put in, which brings home things. And also there's a comment from Dr. Andrew here. He has put in some resources which hopefully will be useful for us even after our Zoom call finishes, and hopefully the host will be able to send us these links after this event finishes. There are a couple of questions here about the certificate. I think, again, the host institute will hopefully generate certificates for the participants. And yes, we are recording, and I'm sure we'll be able to share the link to the recording of the webinar as well. Gosh, it's just an hour, and I can't believe how much of the ground you've covered in telling us the collaboration, but also it will be important. I love to look forward to seeing your paper, hopefully on the evaluation of it, what, from the students' perspective, what their challenges and benefits are and how they benefited from it, and the impact to the community would be really good to hear through your further seminars or papers. And hopefully it's also energized our participants to join your team, to continue in their own institutions and countries. Hopefully you will get some energy. I am quite fascinated and encouraged by what you have done. So for the participants, I think there's been a good interaction too. So thank you so much for all your participation. I think we are on time, and it's been a great session, and hope it's given you some ideas for networking, collaboration internationally. This is an example of East to West, this collaboration, in spite of all the hurdles that they've faced, they've made it work. So there is hope for a lot of us who are thinking about international collaboration and the community engagement projects. So I would like to thank our hosts, the American University in Emirates, and Professor Abhilasha Singh for taking this initiative, Heatle and the exec who have organized the seminar, and the team, the panelists headed by Dr. Audrey Falk and Martina for delivering this webinar. And I hope we'll have several of these for us to learn together, and the participants for your enthusiastic participation in this. And please communicate with the team. You will get their emails from the host institute, and let's start talking. At Passionate Educators, hopefully we'll move the learning inch forward by doing these seminars together. Thank you all very much, and goodbye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hani, will you be able to switch off the recording and take that forward?